episode of What the Fat. Just want to say hi, and of course I got my friend Kenya here.
Hi.
Say hi, Kenya.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Okay, and tonight we are going to be talking about different types of internet commentary. Now, if you do come across this, I do have to warn you that some of the stuff that you'll be seeing on here may be triggering, kind of upsetting, but it's not my intention to do that. I'm just bringing out something that I have observed in the past 2 years of being in the fat acceptance movement, which is different types of internet commentary, and I kind of was able to catalog some of these. So, Kenya, what do you think about tonight's subject? How are you looking forward to it?
I think it's going to be interesting to see the commentary and the way some people, I guess, are judgmental against fat people. I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be interesting. I like what you've shared already, so I can't wait. I'm excited about this show.
Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of hard to do everything on the computer here because it's like so many things that you got to do. But we're going to start off with what I like to call the PARROT. And I'm going to read you the definition that I put down, and then I'm going to read a couple examples that we're going to talk about this particular type of commentary. So, what I have written is, okay, I have to go full screen on this. The PARROT is a person who, when in discussion of fatness, often repeats what she heard in the media in regard to the perceived health of a fat person. It may also be another weight-related trope or saying heard in the media or elsewhere. The PARROT often repeats a laundry list of supposed health problems associated with fatness. Oftentimes, this type of commentary is dry, detached, and more generalized towards the fat population as a whole. So now I'm going to show you a couple of examples that I have. Okay, and this, like I said, I'm not used to doing this, and it's just very hard to streamline everything. But okay, I'm going to go into screen share here and internet comments. Okay, so if you can see this is the PARROT example number 1, which this person, oh, and by the way, I left the names out on these because I want to keep them anonymous. I don't want them tracking us back or whatever. But anyways, this PARROT example is, this person said, fat people are gross and lazy, and we are supposed to be nice to them. Why? Because they are too lazy to lose the disgusting weight. If you are a fat ass, please kill yourself. I don't know how that's PARROT. I think I may have. Okay, here's another example. I agree with you saying that fat does not equal unhealthy. There are definitely bigger people who are perfectly healthy. However, no one can and should deny that being overweight does give you a higher risk of high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, strokes, certain type of cancers, etc. In general, being a normal weight and not fat is just healthier than being fat. But of course, there are exceptions. Okay, I kind of messed up on the example 1 there. I don't think it was supposed to be that. So, let's talk about this. The PARROT example, like I said, they often tend to be more generalized. And, another thing, too, is actually the example that I wanted is something about calories in, calories out. That's another kind. That's what I mean by tropes. Certain sayings that people hear about obesity. So, what do you think, Kenya?
Well, that first comment was god awful. The person saying that, fat people just go and kill themselves. Well, a lot of the opinions that are written on the internet are about stereotypes. And I think thin people or normal weight or typical people, they don't factor in that fat or even their size, that it's something that's really genetic. You have people who I grew up with girls who could eat a lot more than me, never gained a pound because their metabolisms were high. And then me, who ate, I guess, a normal size, we gained a whole bunch of weight, but everybody in my family was fat, so naturally I was going to be fat, and it has nothing to do with me being lazy or anything like that. As far as the attacks that happen on the internet, I think it's just a way to call people out, particularly fat people out to. It's supposed to be inspire fat people, I guess, get up off the couch and exercise and diet. But attacking people like that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. So that's just my opinion.
Well, the thing is that people have this very simplistic view about obesity. It's to them, it's simply, the whole thing: calories in, calories out. Another thing that you probably would hear is move more, eat less, or something like that, because people tend to think in black and white when it comes to obesity. Like it's either or, and they
But
don't
those
understand.
people, but those people who, and I hear that a lot. One person that I really can't stand is Dr. Ian Holmes. He's an African American man. I remember him from Celebrity Fit Club, and he has been thin all his life. And he writes these books a lot about basically what you're saying: calories in, calories out, um, eat less, exercise more, and he makes a lot of money off of, I guess, unconfident fat people who feel like they need to lose weight and everything like that.
Mhm,
When you are predisposed to be overweight, that's not necessarily your fault.
mhm,
So this calories in, calories out doesn't work for everyone.
mhm.
So you know, these tropes that are believed are a lie. They're basically a lie. So
Right.
it's not the same for everyone. I'm just agreeing with you. It's not the same for everyone, just like you said.
Well, the thing too is, like I said, they think in black and white when it comes to obesity, but like you mentioned genetics. Genetics is one thing, and they are starting to find more and more out about obesity in genetics. And I have poly, what was it, PCOS? You can't remember, polycystic ovarian syndrome or something like that. I think that's what,
P what's
PCOS.
yeah,
Yeah,
PCO. Yeah.
yeah, because I just saw the gynecologist like about a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about that, and he looked at the hormone tests I had about a year ago, and he said that yeah, you've got the syndrome of it, and that's why it's called a syndrome, because it's really hard to diagnose that, actually catch it when it's happening. But he said yeah, because I mentioned something about my weight, he said yeah, you're gonna get weight around your stomach, because that's a common sign of PCOS. And people, but people like the parrots here, what they do is they often talk about the health risks. Like when you read a comment like this, it's almost like they are just repeating things, like they're a drone. They can't think originally. You know what I'm saying? That's the parrot, and the parrot, yeah, it is brought. It's like generalized over all fat people, not just a particular person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's generalized. And you'll see this in like articles that talk about obesity, whether it's positive or negative. That there's you're going to see the parrot there, and the parrot's more. I'm going to tell you right now, the parrot's a little bit more benign than some of the other commentary types that we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but is there anything else you want to say about the parrot, Kenya?
I guess I'll just say the parrot. I feel like it's a way of being concerning, but not really being concerning.
Right.
That's their goal, is to say, I'm concerned that you're overweight, and I have these solutions, or what I believe these are solutions for you to
Mm-hmm.
lose weight, but it's not being based on things like science, culture, environment, those things,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody is fat for different reasons.
Well,
It,
that go ahead and continue. I didn't know we were
no,
finished.
no, I was just going to say everybody's fat for different reasons. Sometimes
Right.
it's genetics, sometimes it is overeating, but you cannot lump everybody or parrot everyone and say, well, you all need to lose weight based on one reason. It's not just people are overeating. It's sometimes genetic related, like I said, or it's health related.
Exactly.
So that's it.
Yeah. Well, now that you kind of brought up the concern thing, this is actually the next category or that I have found with commentaries, which I like to call the concerned citizen. So I'm going to read the definition here. Let me see. Because I put all the examples I wanted in here. So, okay. The concerned citizen. The concerned citizen is similar to the parrot in that they also cite a laundry list of supposed health diseases associated with fatness. However, unlike the parrot, the concerned citizen tends to refer specifically to a person, either another in the comments, to a subject in an article, or a fat celebrity. The concerned citizen often uses language that shows concern about the subject matter at hand, whereas a parrot is more generalized. We kind of talked about that generalization, but now let me see if I can try to give you an examples. Okay, I need to go back to screen share. So, all right, so here we go. Concerned citizen example 1 here. I'm going to read it out loud. But plenty of people are so large they can't carry out basic hygiene and require sticks to reach around. This is dreadful. It's just dreadful. Anyone gets to that state, and it comes about not from dieting, but from being careless in the first place. Once you are obese, it's just like drug addiction. It's identical, actually. It's going to get worse and worse. In fact, accepting the fact is probably the best thing you can do. Intuitive eating is just the same as giving an addict the drugs. It takes away the stress and makes it not forbidden fruit. So here's the second example. If she is truly happy being the size she is, then I am happy for her. But being that size cannot be good for her health. I am very happy for her success because size should not matter in how successful a person is. The love scene was surprising to me. The first thing I noticed is the actor she did the love scene with. He did not have 1 ounce of fat on him. He must work out daily. It's just that if we are keeping it real, most likely someone who works out daily would not match up with someone that overweight. Why did they not pick an actor who was also overweight for her to do the love scene with? That would have seemed more realistic. This is in reference to the Gabrielle Sidibe love scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gabby's love scene, yeah, from Empire.
Yeah. And but you see how they focus on the individual. You see how they kind of have a concern for that. I'm not sure if you really saw those in the examples, but those are the best ones that I found that kind of have that language of being concerned about someone. And that's what the go ahead.
I would disagree with that last comment. That's not really a concerned citizen. That's somebody putting their feelings about. I feel like fat love and fat sex. What that's supposed to mean. To me, a concerned citizen is somebody who says, more like the first comment, like, I'm concerned more about, the person getting diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol, and how their weight affects them physically or health wise, or how they're not able to take care of their bodies. So that to me, that's more of a concerned citizen. But to me, like, also a concerned citizen is, we see it all the time. Examples in media, like with the news, with even, I'm sorry to bring this up, but Michelle Obama is the biggest concerned citizen with her Let's Move Obesity Kids campaign. I love her as a FLOTUS. I think she's a wonderful person, and I would love to meet her one day. But she perpetuates this stereotype that fat kids or obese kids are sitting at home playing video games. Not all of them are sitting at home playing video games. To me, she's the biggest example of a concerned citizen. Her and um, Jamie Oliver, they, who goes to schools and tries to, I guess, redo lunches for kids, because the kids aren't getting healthy lunches at school, which I agree with. Kids aren't getting healthy lunches at school. But if you're really concerned about what kids are eating, then it's more of are they eating healthy, or are they eating what they can afford? Because most kids who are obese because they can't afford to buy, well, their parents can afford to buy good food, which is something we talked about in another show.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that concerned citizen also is very dangerous of perpetuating a stereotype, and then I guess you making or getting a generation of kids to grow up to believe that, you know, they're not eating healthy, and that there's something wrong with them because they're a certain size. So that
Mm-hmm.
when I think of concerned citizen, I think of Michelle Obama, because
Right.
she's like, oh, let's get these kids moving. And it's not necessarily the kids are not moving, it's just they don't have access to healthy food.
Yeah, well, I've heard about some of the stuff in her programs. Like I have heard that kids, if there's overweight kids, they have to lose weight or they don't pass the class. And I think I've seen a photograph where some kid in a school took a picture of his lunch or her lunch. I don't know if it was a guy or a girl that did it, but basically it was like a little bit of cauliflower, a little bit of fruit, and like a piece of meat about like this big. And a lot of people were outraged by that because it's like that barely feeds anybody, and it's all being done in that Let's Move program. The like the PE classes and stuff. They have to pass these classes. If you're overweight and you just can't lose weight, you can't pass the class.
Hmm.
And if you're in high school, that's important to have those credits,
Hmm.
those points, so that you can go to college.
Hmm.
But the concerned citizen, you talk about Michelle Obama. Yeah, she seems to be the biggest one that is really public about, obesity.
Obesity. Hmm.
She it's almost like you can see the derision in her face when she does talk about it. Because I've seen the one where she read the book about Santa losing weight or something, and you can kind of hear it in the tone of her voice and stuff that she just thinks that fat people are disgusting. And that's something about the concerned citizen. They couch everything in concern, but it really means that they're disgusted by fat bodies.
Hmm.
So, yes. I mean, have you ever thought of that? I mean, have you ever thought that the concern that they have for a certain person is really more about disgust? Like the thing with Gabrielle Sidibe in the love scene. A lot of people were
Well,
disgusted.
definitely, yeah. That's why to me, it's more of a, like I said, it has to do with, for me, just for me, it has to do with fat love, fat sex. The fact that the person's making the statement that it would be more realistic for her to be with someone overweight, and that um, no one who is who works out would ever be with a fat person. I will attest that is so untrue. That is very untrue. From my own personal experiences, I have met men who have good bodies and work out, and they like fat women, and it has nothing. And they're not trying to make the women lose weight. Um, they're just that's their preference. That's what they like. It's no different from a guy saying he likes blondes, or he likes
Mhm.
women with big boobs or big butt. It's a preference. But as far as like being disgusted with a body, again, it comes back to what I feel like society has done with fat bodies. We don't see fat bodies as normal anymore. We see them as something ugly. Um, so yeah, I can't say for myself if Michelle Obama is disgusted with fat bodies, because I've never seen what you said about Santa losing weight. But I know personally that there are people who are just absolutely disgusted with fat people. They
Mm-hmm.
just feel like there's no need for us to be here.
Right, exactly. You mentioned the whole thing about, fat women getting thin, thin lovers or whatever. There's a song by Trisha Payton called Fat Chicks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in the music video, I mean she's fat herself, but she's not like really fat. She's kind of got a curvy body and stuff. She's got a little bit of tummy. But she made this song called Fat Chicks, which kind of praises being fat and stuff. And a lot of the comments were like, "Oh, what about thin shaming?" A lot of thin people coming out saying, there's thin people that get shamed and stuff like that. And then there's people on there that say, "Oh, why does she get a fit guy? How come she can't get a fat guy to be with her?" And to me, when I see those kind of comments, I know they won't have anything with it could fall under the concerned citizen, but to me, it's almost like saying something like, "Well, if you're white, why don't you stay with a white person? Or you're black, stay with a black person." To me, that's what it seems like to me when they say, how come a fat girl gets a fit guy? And they don't realize that in a lot of like TV sitcoms and stuff, there's usually the fat goofy guy, but he has a very hot looking wife.
Yeah.
But when it's reversed, it's like all of a sudden it's a problem. And another thing too, talking about how some of them people are like, "Oh, it's thin shaming" and stuff like that. It's like we get a song for ourselves, praising a fatter body type, and in this video, she sprayed some girls that were looking at her like really dirty, like they were thin and they were looking at her dirty or something. She took the thin people's guys away from them and stuff like that. So it's like all of a sudden you got thin people coming in saying it's thin discrimination and stuff like that. And I don't know what you think about that. Like when thin people kind of start talking like that.
When there's thin discrimination, you mean?
I mean, like, okay, if I can't get on YouTube right now, but like the comments was there say they will say, "Well, what about the skinny girls? The skinny girls are getting shamed on there," and talking about how stuff like that,
Fat girls are forever getting shamed. I mean, I'm not saying that there's what is it, thin shaming or slim shaming? That does happen. But fat girls are forever getting shamed because our bodies aren't seen as typical. So, and it's okay to make fun of fat people. It's the last disability where it's okay to make fun of someone. Don't make fun of people who are disabled. You don't call people crippled. You don't call black people the N-word. You don't use the F word to refer to gay people. But you can
the N-word.
Yeah, the N-word. You don't. But you can say fat all day, and you can use it as a way to insult people, particularly fat people. So,
And if there is a word that is like prohibited, like the word the N-word, it's definitely prohibited. Only black people they call each other like niggas or something like that. I won't use it for I know a lot of black people, but I'm like, I want to use it, but to reach somebody. So but like there's a new word that's being used that actually came out of a meme from I think 4chan, I'm not sure, but it's called dingoes. I don't know if you ever came across that.
No.
No, it's called dingoes.
Is that in reference to fat people?
No, it's not a reference to fat people. I'm kind of getting off track here.
Okay.
So anyway, talking about the concerned citizen, they, like I said, they usually do list like health problems that you might face. They'll say, "Oh yeah, you're young and healthy right now, but like a few years from now, you're gonna be suffering from type 2 diabetes, heart disease, whatever's out there, joint problems, whatever." That's the concerned citizen, but you do see that they're not actually concerned about that person or the celebrity or anything like that. So I don't know. Trying to think of it. I don't have any more examples on it. But looking at the two examples, you can see that kind of language. I mean, did you see that kind of language?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not too concerned about what's happening. They're more concerned about how they feel because fat makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah. And
I mean, the same thing like the not Victoria's Secret, but the Lane Bryant ad that came out, I think it was about a month and a half ago, where they had fat women in bathing suits. Some of them were partially nude, and almost every network refused to air the ad because even though Victoria's Secret had an ad very similar to that ad, they felt like it was too explicit because of the fact that you have all these fat women naked because fat makes them uncomfortable in general. So,
and of course, you know, you're going to see this on the internet a lot. And that kind of brings us to the next category, which is actually a combination of two different kinds, because they often go hand in hand together, called the hand wringer and one called the whiner. And basically the tone of the language in these commentaries is that they're whining or they're very worried about obesity. But let me kind of read what I wrote about it, if I can find it here. Okay, so anyway, now we're going to talk about the whiner hand wringer, actually. There are two parts to this type of commentary, but often these two overlap. I just mentioned that. I will explain each individually. The whiner commentator often uses language and tone in their comments about fatness or fat people that seems to appear to be whining. Oftentimes, this is used in complaining about how fat people are impacting negatively on society. The hand wringer is nearly the same, but often invokes the think of the children fallacy. They worry about how fatness is becoming the norm. They often hand wring or worry about how the acceptance of large bodies or the glorification of such bodies are unhealthy, and that such thinking will have an impact on society, children, nation, and healthcare. And I got a few examples here. So,
yeah, let's see the examples.
yeah, I'm trying to get them right. Okay, so, all right, so we're going to move down here a little bit. This should be the first example here. Okay, here's a hand wringer and whiner example. This article and the rest of the whiny articles about fat shaming don't do anyone any favors. Truth is, obesity could bankrupt Western civilizations. Loss of productivity, increased disability claims, increased insurance and hospital rates, bad backs, bad knees, bad feet, heart problems, diabetes, with taxpayers, coworkers, and family picking up the tab until they too drop off one by one. That's what we should be ashamed of. There simply is no epidemic of people exercising so much that health is threatened. This is a tabloid article. It has nothing to do with truth or journalism. At what level will the Guardian be ashamed? And here's example number 2. What a terrible role model. Her whole movement is so irresponsible. At first, when I saw her, I thought good for her, standing up for the fashion industry standards of beauty. But now that I think it over, I see this is wrong. She is obese. Obesity should not be celebrated. That is a different story. But as soon as it gets to this point, to the point of health issues, it goes too. So, turn this. So you read those, or I read them actually, but you kind of heard this, and can you sense the hand wringing and the whining in there in those examples?
Yeah. I guess so. Basically, they're telling us that you can be beautiful, but that's going too far. You still have to lose weight. You still have to submit to the standard of beauty, and that and fat people are just not submitting to it. I don't know what else to say about it.
One thing I noticed, is they seem to be concerned or whining about how obesity is going to impact, the government finances, insurance, and stuff like that. First example pretty much
Yeah,
said
but
that.
that's not true. We already have information that fat people or people with more weight tend to live longer than people who are thin. That's a statistic fact.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna point this out because at the same time, you know, and I've said this to you, and I've said this in another show. I do not fault anybody who is fat and who wishes to lose weight. That is not. I'm a body positivity person. So if you want to lose weight, fine. If you don't want to lose weight, not so fine. It's I mean it's fine to me either way. That's what I meant to say. It's fine to me either way. So you know I kind of see their points of view, but it's everybody's body. It's up to them
Mm-hmm.
what they want to do and what they can do with their body. Not
Right.
everybody is as a handwringer. I mean, you can come to me and I'm overweight and say, okay, you need to lose weight, which I've had doctors say to me, you need to lose weight. And here's the tools, and it's up to you, go do it. But in reality, I have to eat 800 calories or less to lose weight
Mm.
because I've already done work and lost weight and I'm at a standstill. And so for me, I I can either hate my body or love my body. And that's what I feel like hand wringers and all these comments are encouraging fat people to do is to hate their body, hate the body that God has given them, or hate the body that they feel that they were put into, and just you know just hate their life and not live their life for the rest of the
Yeah.
existence.
Well, the thing too, you're bringing up, the hate the body thing. I have seen comments where people say they should wear burqas or they need to cover up or something like that. Like they see a fat woman with a crop top and wearing a skirt, they're like, oh, we don't want to see that stuff.
By the way,
That's more vicious commentary, but there have been people that have said, the hand wringer stuff, like we should not be glorifying obesity is one of the biggest things that I see. Like, you see these fat women in like bikinis or showing off their bodies somehow and saying that they're beautiful. And there's people out there, commentators, hand wringing over this glorification. We should not make obesity normal stuff. And it's almost like, they don't understand why fat women are showing off their bodies on the internet. And it's basically the reaffirmations. It's like maybe this, you probably know this better than I do, but like back in the 70s when the civil rights era was going on, there was a Black is Beautiful movement.
Mm-hmm.
And Black women in particular would say they're beautiful. Black is beautiful. Their hair is beautiful. Everything about them is beautiful. Well, that's what these fat women are doing. Is pretty much the same thing. They're showing off their bodies and saying I'm beautiful because society tells them that they're not, that they're ugly, that it should be hidden.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. And it's something that is needed. I mean, if you cannot, again, I come back to the same thing over and over again, is all of us are different. We were made differently. All of us cannot lose weight and be a size 2, or we weren't born a size 2, or we're naturally going to hold on to weight more than our counterpart. So for to put that expectation on everyone to be a size 2 is just outrageous. You can't do that. And plus everyone doesn't like being a size 2. My husband would divorce me if I was a size 2. And and just to put that out there, because some people say, oh, well, he's the chubby chaser. Actually, he's not. I'm just that amazing that he fell in love with me. So, it's not necessarily about size, it's about personality. And I was going to say what you just said, because Gabby was on, what is it, Jimmy Kimmel. We brought up Gabby Sidibe before, and she was on Jimmy Kimmel, and she was wearing a crop top. And I thought that was so funny. I was like, go ahead, you're wearing a crop top. Good for you.
I'll have to look that up. So
yeah, it was just like on TV, like maybe like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I
And
have to look it up. There's probably a lot of articles about her. So, but 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 the thing is Melissa McCarthy is losing weight. You can see her losing weight, and I personally feel a little disappointed about that. But again, at the same time, I gotta realize that it is her body, and she probably does want to lose weight.
we don't know her situation. We don't know what's going on in her life. So it could be something health wise. And that's why for me, I never try to, put my personal feelings on why someone wants to lose weight. I know when Shonda Rhimes lost weight, there was a lot of like controversy in one of the closed groups that I was in about, how dare she lose all this weight? She was our goddess, and now she's losing all this weight. And again, it's her body. She gets to do whatever she wants to with her body. She
Yeah,
gets to live her life the way she wants it. And
and,
same thing with
yeah, yeah,
Oprah. If Oprah wants to lose weight, again, it's her body. I can't tell her what to do. But
yeah,
I do feel
exactly.
there's a lack of self-love. You have to love yourself first, no matter what. Doesn't matter what size you are.
Well, the thing is that it is disappointing when fat celebrities start to lose weight. I'm not sure if Gabby is on the path to lose weight or not. She's not as big as in the middle as she was before. She's had really large arms, but um, so far I haven't seen her really kind of lose weight or anything. But the thing too is when celebrities do lose weight, they get all the praise and accolades and stuff like that. Like, oh wow, she's losing weight, she's getting healthy. Again, it's tied to health. And
Mhm.
again, it is tied to the fact that people don't like fat people. So they praise the celebrities like, oh, Melissa McCarthy just lost 70 pounds and she's much more healthier now and stuff. Like I said, it's disappointing when a fat person or when a celebrity loses weight, but again, you don't know. Like you said, you don't know what's going on. But while they were fat, you would see these hand wringer comments about them, about their health and stuff like this, or um they're trying to normalize obesity. That's another term that I've heard. Like obesity is being normalized, and that's not good for society. Those kind of comments that
No,
are
but it's
more
not
like,
about obese. I just feel like it's a bunch of ignorance that
mm-hmm,
people don't understand, and maybe they've never had a fat person, or maybe they don't come a fat person in their family, or they come from a group where there's no fat people around. Like they've never seen. It's to me, being overweight sometimes is for some people, not all people. It's kind of like being gay, where it's nothing that you can necessarily do about it or change it. It's just the way that you were born. That's the way that your body is predisposed. There's nothing necessarily you can do about it. And for some people, they weren't born that way. For some people, they grew into it, or maybe there was a history of abuse and they used food as a crutch to get them
mm-hmm,
through hard times, very much like a drug addict. So I get that part of it. But again, it's our body. I can't tell you what to do with your body, and you can't tell me what to do with my body. And that's what it comes down to.
mm-hmm, exactly. Um, you know, um, and I think when we're talking about these commentaries and stuff, we are talking about people that are ignorant and actually are afraid of something,
Yeah.
because that's where prejudice and stuff comes in. I'm pretty sure, like during the civil rights era, um, when black people were trying to gain rights and stuff like that, there was a lot of people that were afraid and very ignorant about black people, and they went through a lot during the Civil War, or not the Civil War, a civil rights
I know
era. Um,
what you mean.
where they had dogs turned on them, they had hoses turned on them, they had people that arrested them and stuff like that. We're not really like that with the fat acceptance movement, because fat people can vote and drive and do everything else. But these commentators don't realize just how prevalent fat discrimination is, and they're not looking in the right areas. That's the thing. So you get all these comments, and the hand wringer, whiner, and you see a lot of that. All these commentaries that we're talking about, you'll see a lot of it, and mostly I see them on like YouTube, and the more vicious ones are on YouTube. But what else can we say about the hand wringer? They they're concerned about children. So that's where I talk about think of the children fallacy. It's actually a logical fallacy.
The children.
Yeah. So they're concerned about children getting obese. I mean, I guess there's, you know, children getting obese. And I never watched The Biggest Loser.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to do a show on that because I really would like to, you know, but there was one episode, I swear it was when my mom was in the hospital and she was watching it, and there was a little girl that was going through The Biggest Loser. It was like the children's edition or something, and they told her that she had pre-diabetes.
Well, hold up, they had a Biggest Loser children's edition.
Yeah, they had. They had one where they had. Well, it's not like little children. It's like people that are like
teenagers.
Teens and I guess like 12-year-olds or something like that. I'm not sure, but
so like maybe 13 and above.
Probably, but I just know that it was like children basically, like but I think their age range was like 12 and up. I'm not sure, but they said it was this Hispanic girl. She was fat, and they told her that she had pre-diabetes and all this stuff. See, they do that in the show. They talk about the pre-diabetes. They talk about the health stuff, you know, all the health problems. That show itself is like all of these commentaries that we're talking about in here, you know. But they told her that she had pre-diabetes, and they got like all dramatic about that stuff like that. But that's the hand wringer and the whiner. They tend to, especially when it comes to children, they worry about children. You know, children getting fat, children getting sick and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, most children that I see are that are fat often have parents that are fat. And that could be a genetic thing. We don't know what's going on with that family, but people judge them. They hand wring over the children. Like the parents are feeding them all this junk food. They're getting fat, and it's you know, we worry about the children. You know, we're just worrying about the children. This is the children. Look at them. They're fat. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, but we don't know what. I don't know. I've seen parents feed their kids crap, and their kids are not fat. So again, it's the genetics that comes into play. And I really don't think that, well, like I said before, I feel like these people are just ignorant, and they don't have enough information or consider the fact that it's about culture, it's about environment, it's about genetics, it's about having access to healthy food, that all of those things come into play when a child is fat or when a person is fat. Like I was born a preemie. I weighed, you know, like 5 pounds when I was born back in the 1970s, which was considered a preemie. Now we got little preemies. So, but,
my oldest niece was a preemie. Now she's got a baby on the way. So,
So, but that was a preemie for, 5 pounds back in the 1970s was considered a preemie. So, but, me being a preemie, I wasn't a regular weight or a normal weight. And of course, if I don't know, why is it in this society, particularly American society, and I think even in European society, it's okay to have a fat baby. Why do you have a problem with that fat baby growing up and being a fat toddler or a fat kid? Because that's what mothers try to do all the time. They try to fatten up their babies. So why now? I would question why now, or why is it that when they grow up to be, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have a problem with them being fat when you were trying to fatten them up from the time that they came out the womb? So it says something about our society. That's all that I wanted to point out when you said about what about the children? If that's the case, why not put babies on a diet? And
there are people that will do that. I have heard of mothers who be like, "Oh, my child is getting so fat," and they starve the child, not realizing that actually will make the baby fat in the future. The thing is, you can have a baby, you can you know, I was like 8 pounds 6 ounces or something when I was born. I was born a month early because my mother being diabetic. I guess babies grow faster with diabetics.
Yes,
I'm not sure,
yes,
but
yes, it,
but you know, you can have a thin child. You know, your child could be thin when they're growing up, but as soon as they hit puberty, they can start becoming fat. That's what happened to my nephew, Malachi. He was thin when he was younger. He was a lot active when he was younger, but when he got older, he became less active, but he became really fat. And I'm thinking, you know, his father is fat and my sister is fat, so he probably gained weight because of not just environment but genetics too. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him now. He moved up. He moved away or something. He's 18 years old now. He's a legal adult. He can do what he wants. But the thing is that, you know, then my youngest niece, Jelena,
mhm.
she's got my sister's build. She's chubby, but she was the athletic one. She'd like to play sports in school. I'm not sure if she's playing any sports now, but
Mhm.
she was the athletic one. And then my oldest niece, like I said, she's having a baby, so she's growing. You know, her stomach is growing. There's a baby in there, and but the thing is that my sister is fat, and two of my, you know, relatives are fat. You know, my nephew and my youngest niece, they're fat, and
Mhm.
you can see the genetics of it.
Mhm.
So, I'm pretty sure you've heard of like CPS taking fat children away from their parents so they lose weight.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of stuff like that?
Yes, I have, and I've seen it on Maury. But you know what? I do have to say this, and if I get in trouble, so be I get in trouble. In some of those cases, I feel like, yeah, they need to have the kids taken away because I've seen these mothers on. I'm talking specifically about Maury. I've seen mothers talk about how they're giving their 6-month-old children soda. Instead of giving them milk, they're putting soda in their bottles, and they'll be giving them fried chicken and pizza to eat at 6 months old. 6 months old, they barely have teeth. So yes, to me, that's abuse. Why would you give a child, fried chicken and pizza and soda in a bottle? So on that part, but you if the child is fat and or if the child is overweight and you see that baby is big, that doesn't necessarily mean that that baby is fat because they're getting fried chicken and pizza. It could be that they have something or a condition like Willie Prouder syndrome, which I don't know if you have heard of
I've
that.
heard of Willie Prater. Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be that could be the case. This is where, again, like I keep saying, hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but that's where genetics comes in, and you really need to like investigate and see what's going on in the family. Willie Potter syndrome is something that cannot be stopped, and it has nothing to do with the parents per se. It's completely genetic. So
Uh-huh.
in that case, yeah, let's invest. If you need to investigate, okay. And those parents are caring enough to actually go and to make sure nothing is wrong with their child. But
Uh-huh.
in those cases where those women or moms are giving their kids bottles, like filling up a bottle filled with soda,
That,
that
yeah,
is
yeah,
completely
that is
disgusting. I don't agree with that at all. But
that to me is wrong. I have seen children have decaying teeth
yeah,
because they're
their
drinking
teeth
juice
fall
or they're
out.
drinking pop or something. Because when I was living with my dad, there was like a neighbor about 4 or 5 houses away from him, and they had a
Hmm.
little child. He had rotted teeth, and all he drank was juice in a bottle. And to me, that is no. You need they can have that every once in a while. You know, when they're older. You know, you get chicken nuggets for once in a while. It should be a treat. It shouldn't be a habit. It should be a treat because
Hmm.
children really do need nutrition in their formative years.
Hmm.
But like I said, that pizza and stuff like that, you can give it to them once in a while. But if you're making that entirely their diet, all this bad stuff,
Yeah.
that's not right. Then a child is going to get fat because of that, and not only just adipose fat, but the visceral fat around the organs, and
Hmm.
But we're going back to like
Save
health
the
issues
children.
that the hand wringers and the parents all that don't understand is there's also diseases that make people fat, like hypothyroidism, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Finally, I was able to say it this time. Um, you know, stuff like that. There's things that are happening in people's bodies that, you know, they have a hormonal problem that prevents them from losing weight.
Not just that, but you know, people, like I said before, it could be that that person just has a slower metabolism,
Mm-hmm.
and that they eat very little or they don't eat a lot, and they just hold on to weight or they hold on to fat because it's easier. And even if you look at it just from a scientific point of view for a second, and nobody doesn't consider this. I don't really feel like people consider this. When you are not eating, if you're already fat and you stop eating, your body goes into starvation mode anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to hold on to fat. That's the purpose of a diet, is for your body to go into starvation mode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to naturally hold on to fat. So these doctors, scientists, these trolls that are on the internet, because that's what they are, they're just trolls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're actually considering the fact that, yeah, when you go on a diet, your body goes into starvation and you're going to hold on to more fat.
Well, the
And
thing, yep,
and that
yep.
eating, that actually eating causes weight loss. Eating good food causes weight loss. Eating healthy food causes weight loss. So even though that might be the situation for one person where they in that instance where they want to lose weight, that that's their situation. But again, I'm going to say it again, it's about what I want to do with my body.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to eat pizza every day, that's my business. If I want to eat cookies every day, that's my business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I'm not in your pantry. I'm not telling you what to eat, because I'm sure that there are thin people who do eat cookies, burritos, whatever the hell they want to every day, and they don't gain an ounce of weight. But they were just genetically predisposed to have thinner bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's what, to me, that's what it comes down to, is
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
people have to consider everything, not just one way of doing things.
Right, right. So,
That's it.
anyways, you know, we talked about the hand wringer and whiner. You know, these people that whine and hand wring over obesity. You know how obesity is gonna be the fall of civilization or Western civilization and stuff like that. Um, the complaint that I hear a lot is that that fat people impact insurance, and that fat people impact the environment. Fat people impact the I guess you would call it like safety nets, so like social programs like welfare and social security, stuff like that. You know, they hand wring over how it's going to destroy civilization, how obese people are going to bring about the doom of Western civilization just for existing. And but you know, this is what you will see in the hand wringer whiner commentaries, and these two examples kind of bring it out. And so is there anything more you want to say about the hand wringer before we move
No,
on?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the fishes and the fatazi. And I think I'm going to do all of these. So I'm going to read this and then I'll show you the examples. So let me, just a minute, I got a drink. My mouth gets dry a lot. So, all right, let me see. Okay, so here we are. The fishes and the fatazi. Again, this is also a two-part classification that can and does go hand in hand or overlap each other. The first called the fishes is just that, a fishes person who trolls sites, blogs, and people on the internet and say very derogatory things about fat people. They are often the ones partaking in fat shaming and are not afraid or ashamed of their words and or actions against fat people. In essence, they are bullies. The Bactasi is an extension on the fishes, except they use language that expresses a desire to eradicate fat people in some form, either through Holocaust-type scenarios, promoting pogroms on fat people, encouraging murder of fat people, etc. These two types of commentators are the most common on the internet, and I'm going to show you some examples. And I do have to warn you, some of these are probably a little bit too triggering or upsetting, but I just wanted to show you the examples. I don't mean to hurt anybody out there that sees them, so I'm going to show them to you. So,
I'm very interested in seeing this. There's people that want to murder fat people? Wow.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Here we go. Google Hangouts. Screen. I kind of. Okay, here we go. I wish there was like a better way to streamline this stuff. So, all right.
I'm just dying.
Okay, Fish's example number 1. Fat people are gross and lazy, and we are supposed to be nice to them. Why? This is the one that I showed in the PARROT example. So this is, I messed up on it or something. But let me reread it. So fat people are gross and lazy, and we are supposed to be nice to them. Why? Because they are too lazy to lose the disgusting weight. If you are a fat ass, please kill yourself. Okay. Here's the vicious example 2. That is a choice. Your disgusting appearance and bad health are the price you pay for all that shit you shoveled into your mouth. You have wrecked your bodies and have no one to blame but yourselves. Don't tell me what to be attracted to, just because it makes you feel less bad about your disgusting fat body. Put down the fork, stop eating fast food, and start exercising. Maybe with some of the work you should have done years ago, and you can make yourself valuable to society again. Now I'm going to do the Fatazi examples. This is Fatazi example 1. If you hadn't noticed, I kind of combined fat and Nazi together. So, So, here's the first example. I'd just have death squads, empowered to execute them on sight. All these other proposals, like having camps to make them human again, will cost billions. They don't deserve it, and the best way to relieve the burden on society they embody is just to eliminate it, not spend more. You know they'll just get fat again, and so we'll be paying for these fat concentration camps forever. Second Fatazi example.
I'm loving this. This is awesome.
It is. It's like, dang. These are the ones that you will see on the internet most of the time. This is what I'm talking about.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the Fatazi example 2. If you are over 50 pounds overweight, you will be given 1 month to lose weight. If you fail, too fucking bad. Monthly executions for the failures. They will be put into a massive pile and then lit on fire to keep the thin people warm. So, and I do have more examples in the Word document. So,
you know what I feel like a bunch of white males wrote all this crap because they got rejected by some beautiful fat woman, and so they just are like, I hate fat people now. So,
okay, but let me read one more that's actually on the Word document. This is the Fatazi again. Not within the president's power, but I was thinking, what would happen if you say to everyone, we will kill everyone with a BMI over 50 at the end of the year? First off, everyone would fly into a rage or whatever, but imagine the country doesn't crumble. Everyone will think you're bluffing, but then at the end of the year, you kill everyone with a BMI over 50. Assuming the country still hasn't crumbled, you say, we will kill everyone with a BMI over 40. I wonder how fast everyone still between 50 and 40 would lose that weight or leave the country. Of course, you have to account for sports people who need to be super heavy, but you know, at the very least, no one will be mass dumpster sized anymore. And I'm going to tell you where I got these, because I do have to tell you where I got these. I got that off of Fat People Hate. They moved from Reddit to a website called Vote.com, VOAT.com. And this discussion, I think, was particular to because this is election cycle right now. That if they were president of the United States, what would they do against fat people or something like that? Mm-hmm. So that's the discussion that came about with that. And as you can see, the Fishes and the Fatazi are the most common types of commentary you will see on the internet. So,
all I know is this crap makes me want to go out and go to the beach and wear a bikini, maybe even wear a thong, because maybe these fat Nazis are out there looking at me getting just disgusted.
Well, you know, the Batazi are the ones that are really, 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 really hateful, and you see them all over YouTube and stuff. But like I said, I got that from the Fat People Hate site or whatever.
Oh my
And
goodness. It's funny, but I love it. I think that these people have a really low self-esteem and have nothing else better to do than to hate people because it's easy. It's no different from hating people with disabilities, Black people, gay people, Latino people, anyone who's different, anyone that is not male or white. I know for a fact that group, fat group, or a fat hating group is probably 99.9% white males,
mhm.
and they just are looking for a reason to hate someone because they're different. It's
Yeah,
really sad. I feel sorry for them a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of these people tend to be the trolls that you hear about with fat acceptance. People like Reagan Chastain gets a lot of
Yeah.
trolls,
Hmm.
and what's the other one? Amanda Levitt and Golda Petrowski. I mean, they get trolls. Fat Heffalump, which the way she deals with it with comments, she deletes the comment but puts like this really snarky comment in there. So
Hmm.
and I don't really like that because I want to see what the original comment said because it kind of throws everything off. But she can do what she wants on her blog. But trolls target these people. Reagan in particular gets targeted because she participates in marathons and she's training to do the Ironman again.
Yeah.
And there's trolls that took pictures of her at the Ironman, and they made up things about her. You know, like she had to be rescued or something like that. She didn't have to be rescued. She was under her time, and they took her out because she was didn't make it in time around a certain round or something. I'm not sure. She was swimming, and I guess she had
Uh-huh.
to make it in a certain time or something. But she said while she was swimming, there's a lot of people around her, but she felt like she got kicked in the face, and it felt like somebody was trying to drag her down. And she didn't know if they were trolls or if it was just an accident or what. But but the thing is that she tried the Iron Man. I admire her for doing that. Really, to tell you the truth. I really admire her, but she's very targeted. Her and Hefflum are targeted by these types of trolls. They talk about these people on like Fat People Hate. And they talk about how they want to kill them and stuff like that. That's the Batazi. The Batazi, to me, I don't know if they really, really feel like that or if they just, it's just like they know they can be prejudiced. They know they can get away with saying stuff like this because it's not like with Black people. If I say I want to kill Black people, people call me racist. They call me, you know, KKK or whatever. I'm not. But if I were to say something like that, people would get on me about that. That is an acceptable form of bigotry. And you're going to
Yes.
see these comments until people start speaking up and saying, that ain't right. You know?
Mhm.
So, I mean, do you have anything to say more about the Batazi kind of stuff, you know, the vicious Batazi?
No, I just said it all. I think they're just a bunch of sad people who probably was the victim of some fat girl who didn't like them, and so they're forever upset at
Yeah.
fat women. And
Yeah.
they're like, I hate all fat women. And to me,
There's one more that I wanted to talk about, but let me see. Because I have another one called The Advisor that I did not put in here. So I'm going to probably just read these, but we'll talk about The Advisor because to me, I didn't put it into the main body or something because I wasn't sure we would have enough time. The Batazi and the fishes really are the ones that we really wanted to talk about. When we're done with The Advisor, we could talk about all these all together, you know, I think. But anyways, The Advisor is someone in the comment that, you know, often gives advice about losing weight, whether it's solicited or not. They often talk about like try this diet or go vegan or something like that. So that's what they do. But I'm going to read the. I don't know if I can screen share this one. Let me try. Okay, commentary examples. Can you see that? commentary examples?
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. All right. Let me put, can you see me moving around on here? Good.
I just see you.
Okay, let me see. Can you see this? Like, okay, if you,
I don't see anything.
okay, you know what? Let me just read them and then you'll understand. Okay, so anyway, here's the first example for the advisor. This person said, go high carb, low fat vegan. So much better than calorie restriction. You don't have to count calories. You barely have to think about it. Why spend so much time focusing on food when you don't have to? Check out Freely the Banana Girl and stop worrying about food plans. My goodness, diets like hers make it so hard to keep weight off because you're calorie restricting. Raw to 4, you can eat all you want. Okay, so that's the advisor example 1. This is the advisor example 2. Angie, hardly eating can cause weight gain by slowing down your metabolism. We talked about this, especially skipping meals. So eating correctly will help. If you have a thyroid condition and you know it, I'm assuming you take thyroid medication and that corrects the issue. So that would not be why you aren't able to lose weight, since you've corrected that issue. And of course, exercise, which burns calories, can help too. So we kind of see like an overlap of different commentaries on there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so let me pull my internet back up. Not good. So, the advisor, what do you have to say about that one?
There again, I hate to keep sounding like a broken record because I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again. Their advice means nothing because it's all about the individual person's body and what their body can or can't do, or what they're willing to push their body to do or not do. So unless the fat person is asking for advice, why do you advise? Why do they feel it's necessary to advise? And I think most fat people, especially a person like myself who's been fat all my life, I know how to lose weight. I know how to be on a diet. I know how to exercise. I know the correct way to exercise. And I can give anybody advice on how to go on a diet and lose weight. But that has nothing to do with me being fat. Me being fat is a separate issue.
Right, exactly. And you know, people that are online obviously don't know you and don't know what you've been through, and you know, you as far as they're concerned, you're fat and you need to lose weight, but you could be someone that has lost weight, gained it back, lost it again, gained it back, yo-yo dieting, and that actually does mess with your metabolism. And there are people that do lose weight and can keep the weight off, but it's not very many, as far as I know. I've seen studies where they talk about that stuff, and I think there's a study that says that only like maybe 5% of people can actually keep their weight off. So, all right. So anyway, so we're okay. I see. So anyways, I think we're kind of done here. Actually, is there anything more that you want to add?
Not that I can think of. If your viewers want to, I guess, come and check out my show called Obesity and Film. And our next show is April 25th at 8 o'clock. And we're watching 6 Degrees of Separation.
Okay. So just when I'm done with stay online, I'll talk to you a little bit and then I'll let you go. So do you mind that? So
okay.
All right. So anyways, I guess this is the wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that we kind of went off topic again and stuff, but I think this has been a very good show so far. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. And maybe I could do like a part 2 of internet commentaries. So say goodbye for now. So bye.
Bye.
All right, and